Hello, my name's Elijah, and this is for Commercial Ground AVIA Course 315 for Liberty University. Now, I'm sorry for the background and lack of ability to use PowerPoint and other things like that, but since COVID-19 crisis, I've had to move into the camper to keep my ill mother safe and now have a severe lack of things that I can use and go by and everything, so I apologize for that. But for now, I'm going to tell you about unusual flight attitudes. Now, first you must know in IFR flight, when flying in actual meteorological conditions, in the clouds, in the rain, in fog, in whatever has caused you to be under those kinds of conditions, it can be very easy to get disoriented, to allow yourself to go by the seat of your pants in the plane rather than your instruments, and then find yourself in an unusual attitude. An unusual attitude, by the way, is any attitude that was not intended. Usually, it's either by some kind of climbing turn or descending turn. And those are generally the ones that they protect you from, that we train for. But let's get right into why these are so dangerous and some of the attitudes that we can get into. So, number one, these are extremely dangerous if we don't catch them soon enough. And if we're plummeting toward the earth, we could hit it or not have enough time once we see it to recover from it. And if we are ascending, climbing, and we lose our airspeed to the point of stalling, then we could also be in trouble and stall out and find ourselves in a whole new predicament. So first, let's talk about our little Cessna right here, my little visual aid. We have this Cessna right here that is flying along and then starts to turn and descend. And as it's turning and descending, it's gaining airspeed. And airspeed can be very bad when it becomes too quickly and you have to do an abrupt movement of the airplane. That's why we have a designated maneuvering speed, so that so that we don't go faster than we ought to and cause undue stress on the airframe when trying to alleviate or deviate from a unusual altitude. So if our maneuvering speed's 110 knots, and you start descending like this, and you were already at cruising altitude, you could climb to very quick speeds very quickly, far more than 110 knots. And you try to pull up, you could cause serious damage to your airframe. So when going into an unusual altitude, descending, you need to pull back the power to try to alleviate some of that speed, and then pull up and level off. Now you don't want to pull up too much and then lose airspeed this way and stall out and then go into that again. That would be very bad. So the need to reduce speed when in an unusual altitude going down is so that you do not cause undue stress on the airframe of the airplane. Now, we're flying along at cruising speed and we stop paying attention, we get distracted looking at our approach or getting something from ATC or whatever, and now we're climbing in a turn and we're losing airspeed very quickly. What you want to do is you want to add full power and level off, because when climbing you lose airspeed quickly, and as I said previously, if you lose airspeed and too much of it and then stall in the midst of a cloud, in the midst of near an airport because you're distracted, close to the ground, these things can be very detrimental very, very quickly. So anytime you're in an unusual altitude, you want to make sure that you are aware of your airspeed so that you do not overstress the airplane or so that you do not stall out the airplane. Have fun flying.